Today's task is winterizing the RV with air pressure. First task is make sure you're not running too much pressure. I'm probably gonna run between 60 and 80. Say hi to the big green bus. Next, I hook up the airline to the city water connection on my rig. I have a fresh tank fill and a city water. Don't forget the outdoor shower. So down here I have two valves. That's loud. And then this one here is that low point drain for the water tank. Ignore the noise for a second here. And then on this side I have whatever that are. Come inside while those two things are draining. See, if you notice, I have no pressure here because the low point drains are all. We got cold and hot. I think that one's cold, I'm not sure. But I'm also under the bed draining the freshwater tank. And when I'm done with that, I'll take off the actually you can kind of see air coming through, pushing water through this line, because this is where the city water line comes in on this side of on the pressure side of the water pump on my rig. So city side, city water comes to this side, pressure side of the pump. But when I'm done, I'm going to take this off and make sure there's no water between this line and the pickup point right there. Because you can see that line is different from every other PEX line in here, so which tells me the previous owner must have forgot that and busted the line. Another video will be replacing that charge controller because it went bad. Charge controller or converter? Whatever, it's a $170 piece. Don't forget your shower. I always disconnect the hose and leave the valves open when I'm done. I don't use antifreeze. Also, don't forget about your flush valve and your bathroom sink. One other thing I did, since my setup's a little different with the water filter, I disconnected the fill side that goes up to the valve, to the dispenser, drain the water out of that. I also manually rotated this 90 degrees. It's actually quite complicated. It takes a little bit of force. And I could, when I'm done, last step I'm going to do, I'm going to disconnect this and let air go through the line just to make sure I got all the water out of that as well. Since I can't really drain those from the sink. Another step, don't forget to drain your hot water tank. In my case, I have an anode rod that, I'll probably change it next year. Goes in the hole, bolt. Right now I got air going through it. Alright, so I've cycled the left and right low point drains a few times. I have them cracked open just a hair so air is coming out. Already finished the hot water tank draining, put the drain plug back in. I run each drain 4 or 5 times. I haven't done this one yet, so just move that out of the way. Note to self, don't let shower head spray you in the face. I feel a little bit of the wet, moist air coming out. And some water. So as water comes through the lines, the low point drains here, 2 here, and then 1 there. The line will actually collect water, so I like to leave them open so that they can drain a little bit. Also, if you ever have issues with like a poor water pressure at a sink, check for debris in the filters. I think they're technically called aerators. Warning, noise. Like I said, I'll just do each drain several times. No need to open the toilet, let you see, right? I do both sides of the valve, bottom and top. Keep running each until there's no water in the lines. Back to the shower. Make sure it's not facing me. After all that, I'll disconnect the hose, just leave it lay. Once I'm done, So one unique thing about my hot water setup is I have that mixing valve, which takes cold water, mixes it with the hot water, and sticks out 100. I have it set to 110. It's in Celsius here, so but I got a marking right there. I usually run through it all the way hot, which is this way, so that it's pulling out the max heat. And then when I'm done with that, I'll run through and make sure I set it back to maximum cold. Make sure I get all the water out of this line, and then all the water out of this line. And then I'll set it back to right temperature. Alright, the last thing I do here, second to last, unscrew this valve. I got air going in the fill line right here. Sorry, fill line. Pressurizing the tank. Drain valve's closed. So we're going to get air coming out of this. We're either going to get water or we're not. We shouldn't get any water. I usually like to run the water pump, make sure I get air in it. No water there. I'm going to shut off my air. And I'll run the city water one more time. Okay, finishing up with the winterization on the overhead bunk. I shoved this centerpiece under the mat because it likes, well, there's no light. Let me switch around. Because it likes to have moisture. As you can see, this piece of wood is different from that wood. This is new. No idea. Either way, condensation under your mattress is a real thing in an RV. But it only affects the front passenger side. Alright, back to winterization. Outdoor shower. I leave the valves open. I drain this one manually. The line's only about 1.5 feet long. My little air valve that I use plugs into the air hose and garden hose style. Alright, moving on back. Always leave a fridge open, right? Don't want that nasty smell. On the shower, I'll leave this hose disconnected, nice and straight. Open the valves. Underneath the bed, I reconnected that hose after checking to make sure there's no water, simply because every year I leave it off and I fill it up. Valves are open. Really no way of opening the toilet. And that's about it. Usually come out, check for water leaks. I'll end up wiping that off. It's like a water stain. I redid the seal, cleaned it, and it hasn't come back. I don't know why I didn't wipe it off yet. Other areas, always checking windows. See some water staining there. Cleaning out the drains in the windows. I think that's about it. If I forgot something, let me know. Thanks for watching. So I almost forgot to mention, some people might be concerned about oil contamination from the air hose. That's fine. We use a filter, and we also use bleach to sanitize the lines. Alright, so the motorhome, Class C, whatever, RV is parked. next to all its friends. For at least a couple weeks. I did not use antifreeze this time because we may still use it next month. And for climate, we're in St. Louis area. So if you're worried about freezing, I don't have issues with it. Well, there you go. Thanks for watching. One more thing. Pet peeve of mine. Please put your steps in.